But this really needs to be our last one. My gosh, we're at 3.5 hours. Jordan's got other things to do, I'm sure.
I got an entire class that I'm supposed to start teaching in a week that I haven't started planning. So there we go.
Okay, well, we need to get you out of here soon then.
Just tell them to watch this.
It's just that I actually like this stuff, so you know.
Yeah, can tell.
JD, what up?
I'll try to make it quick because I came in here at the last minute over here, but I was actually like doing some dishes and stuff. Listening, I was like, I just wanted to express a couple things because someone brought up, I think it was Teo brought up an understandable question about even if it's true, what's the practical usefulness of propagating the idea of universalism. And speaking for myself, it's what allows me to have hope.
Yeah, right. Amen.
And I don't think we give enough credit a lot of times to the carrot when it comes to the carrot and the stick. Right. Like we don't give God's love and his beauty enough credit for being able to draw us in. And I know like last year, my mother passed. Well, now it's like 2023. My mother passed away suddenly. And she was sort of like my main source of like all my faith questions and everything. She always had something comforting to tell me. She passed away. And I'm like, I'm sort of like I'm a Catholic, but I'm a major cafeteria Catholic, and I'm like, well, I need to like go, try to have a good confession so I can take communion at my mom's funeral. And I just start doing some research and everything. And I suddenly learning all this stuff about like how easy it is to like go to hell. And you start thinking about everybody that you care about that's never going to make it. And like by most infernalist standards, and like that doesn't draw you in. Like that doesn't. Well, then I better do extra good so I can make it in. It doesn't matter because if I make it, I'm in hell anyway because everybody I care about isn't there, And so that throws you into a state of like, I don't want any of this to be real because I don't want my auntie who doesn't go to church to go to hell. I don't want, you know what I mean? All that stuff is what makes you excited for that moment before I started reading so much, for that moment where I was finally like feeling, and I have these waves throughout my whole life. I have these waves and I get these waves of like being away from church and then feeling drawn to God because something gives me hope. Something makes like that aroma of God's love becomes powerful. And I'm so excited to get closer to God. And I go to church, then I get to church and I get hit with all this nonsense that just makes me feel like someone's putting a gun to my head. And I'm like, I don't want to be there anymore, And I think like making the news good is what draws people to want to emulate the good. Being in love with God and in love with his love is what inspires us to be like that. Like if you're a Star Wars fan and you want to be like Luke Skywalker, it's not because not being like Luke Skywalker is going to make you go to hell. It's like you're inspired. My hero growing up was Barry Sanders. Like I spent so much time outside in the yard practicing those moves because I was inspired, not because I was threatened. Like when we're inspired, we don't give enough credit to the power of being inspired by love. And when you're conditioned to move in love, the consequences of hurting a person is there. It's like when you realize you hurt somebody or you did something wrong, that love within you hurts. That's your consequence. Mm-hmm. And if you don't have that love that motivates you as your motivation, then all the rules and all the infernalism in the world isn't going to help you out one iota because you're not doing it out of love anyway. And ultimately, we're talking about a God who can see our hearts. That's it. I'm done. I just wanted to let that out.
That was maybe a super good way to close it out. By the way, you're awesome.
That needs to be
right
clipped.
on.
That needs to be clipped for sure. One of us has to clip that and just use that as a short because that was so perfect.
I'll do it. I'll clip it and throw it on my channel. Yeah.